Hi guys, Marika here with another card tutorial, and today I'm doing some watercoloring with distress inks. I'm using a digital stamp from Little Blue Button Stamps and the new release that released today, and I have printed this on my laser printer. I have put the image in the Word document to be a watermark, and then I have tried a little bit with ordinary copy paper, trying to get a good print. Different printers print differently. My laser printer is black and white, so it's hard to get a light tone to the printer, but this I think is about 95% or something. I have printed this onto a watercolor cardstock. This is one of the cheaper one of the watercolor cardstocks. It's 180 GSM, and I chose to have it that thin because then it goes through my printer. But I'm going to see if I can find something equivalent to you, because I think this is a Swedish brand. I bought it in a local store, but see if I can find something similar, and I put it in the description down below together with all of the other materials. So, a little details about the coloring. I started out by using some ordinary clean water to fill out my leaves and my stems. I'm using a number 2 brush from the Ranger pack. Again, it will be in the description down below. And the reason why I first color with water is because then the water itself will kind of give you a little bit of a edge or a space where you can color. So if you just drop the color into the water, it will kind of seep out to the edge, but not longer than you painted the water. So it makes watercoloring a little bit easier. In this case, I didn't use a lot of water when I did the leaves and the stems. I used just a little bit, and I didn't water out neither the shabby shutter or the mowed lawn, so I'm doing a pretty dry coloring here. With also the mowed lawn, with them not that blended out, I also get a stronger color. But I did dip my brush into water now and then to get a little bit more water to be able to blend out the colors a little bit more. And when I got to something I kind of liked, I dried it out with my heat tool. And this also because I wanted to go on to the flowers, and then I wouldn't have the red seeping down into the stems. So the flowers, I have 3 colors. I'm using Spun Sugar, Worn Lipstick, and Festive Berries. The Spun Sugar is a very, very light pink, and I think that my ink pad is kind of drying out a little bit, so I didn't get that much color, but I really liked how it gave me that very, very soft pink base, so that the flowers stood out a little bit towards the paper. However, I colored these with a lot more water to begin with, so that when I'm going in with the Worn Lipstick and the Festive Berries, the ink kind of moves a little bit more by itself, and I'm actually just drawing with the other tip of that brush, just making small kind of dots, and therefore it will kind of move itself. And then I'm going to with the heat tool and kind of blow it in the direction I wanted. And when it's dry, or at least almost dry, I'm going in with, in this case, with a Worn Lipstick, but as the inks will move after you have dried them, I'm picking up the Festive Berries, and that is basically what I'm coloring the lines with on the tulips. So I'm kind of following the lines that already is drawn in the tulips by Olga, who is the designer for Little Blue Button Stamps. So that is basically all my kind of watercoloring with these distress inks is. Just adding a little bit more water where I think it's a little bit too dark, and moving around the color. And there I'm trying to fix a little issue, but at the same time it's watercoloring. It can be a little bit messy, doesn't have to be perfect. After coloring the flowers, I felt that the leaves kind of disappeared because the flowers were so strong. And tulip leaves have a tendency to be a bit on the darker side, if I remember correctly. So I decided to go in just with the mowed lawn and add shadowing where it should be shadowing. Basically behind the leaves or on the folds of the leaves. Also at the top and the bottom of the stems, and also on the bottom of the stems where the leaves overlap. And then I'm, as a finishing touch, adding a little bit of a line onto those last 2 leaves. And that's the coloring. I'm very carefully removing the mark tape that I'm using, which is one for wallpaper, which I bought also in like a local hardware store. This paper is actually bought in a local hardware store, the watercolor paper too. Then I'm using this stitched frame die by Simon Says Stamp. I really wished I had more stitched frame dies because I wanted a size that was just in between that size and the little bit smaller size that Simon Says Stamp had. So I chose to go with the bigger size this time because it fitted a little bit better. The card base and the mat is a 1/4 inch bigger, and the card base is another 1/4 inch bigger than the little box. I measured that. For a sentiment, I'm using this I'm So Sorry sentiment by MFT. I thought it would. When I think about flowers, I usually think about condolences cards, so I thought it would be a good sentiment for this card. Now here comes a little bit of an oopsie. I added a lot of tape on the back side of that watercolor paper because it was a little bit warped, being so thin as it is. However, when I was supposed to put down the mat, I pushed a little bit too hard, a little bit too fast, so I didn't get it to line up properly. And sometimes you can't remove the paper. This adhesive is very, very sticky. So instead I went in with a scissor with thin long blades, and I'm cutting it to be about an 1/16 of an inch, I think it is, on all sides. And it actually worked out. It ended up being pretty good, and the white on the card ended to be a little bit bigger, and I kind of like it. And that was actually the card for today. I hope you liked it. If you do, please thumbs it up. It means a lot to me. If you have any questions, just comment down below. And down below you have all of the details and such. If you want to see more videos like this, just hit that subscribe button. And thank you again for watching, and I see you later. Bye!